bit early, but no rush.
I started the recording.
Okay, I'm not co-host or anything right now.
Yeah, I've just made you a co-host.
Well, can one of you share the screens? I am in my patio right now, and for some reason the internet is spotty. And
Yep, sure.
thank you so much.
Okay. Just trying to share the right screen because can share something else. Okay, do you see my screen right now?
Yes, thank you. And can someone share the minutes? I don't even have it open, believe it or not. So today is May 3rd. This is the one-off for MicroProfile Working Group Marketing Call. There are 3 topics that we had to discuss. If you see anything else that is missing from here, please make sure to maybe add it. This call is likely to continue to happen for the rest of Q2 as a one-off. However, sometimes the call will not take place. It depends on the items. And this is the second call of its form. The first one was the budget discussion. So let's go in, write your name, and we follow the same protocol as the regular marketing bi-monthly call. Compatibility logo task. This was, we discussed in the community call a while back that we will want to open up and include or invite microprofilers from all walks to submit designs. We got submissions from Emerson, who is a contributor. We got submissions from Jelastic, the original submission from Tommy Tribe. And the job for this week is for us to review the submissions. Do we have questions about this? Because it ended on April 30th. And we have, yeah, can you click folder logos? There. And now the job is to review all the logos submitted. My question to you is, we have the next community call next Tuesday. Do you believe that the logos submitted even before the review are enough for us to go into review? Or do you want to provide 3-4 more days for maybe IBM or Oracle or another organization to submit codes? We have pushed this over media and it was just below 10 days for the window.
So I have a question. Did we get, like, on the last day, did we receive a good number of logos? Because if people were submitting on the last day, maybe they want to, like, have 1 or 2 more days.
Yeah, my question is exactly that. No, we did not receive, we only got 2 different organizations or members, to members like contributors, right? Like Emerson. We only got 2 extras aside from Tommy Tribe. And my question is, even though there were not many more submissions, do we want to keep this week open and say, hey, we have expanded an extra week? The goal for us is to be done with this by the end of May, if we have time. And this is what we have currently available.
So if we have time, then I don't see there is a harm in extending a week or so. Yeah. I mean, this is just my opinion.
What else, Neha? Thank you so much. What about Emerson? How do you feel about it? Ed, how do you feel about it? Debbie?
Maybe that would give the chance somebody else to use, I guess. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, considering we don't have like too many options to choose among, so that might be reasonable to prolong this to 1 week or even 2 weeks more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind extending.
Okay, Ed, perfect. Ryan, usually Ryan and I, with you, with everyone here, we'll do the review as we have done with Jakarta, but I don't think we're ready yet, and I recommend that we move it. So what we're going to do is continue to do the media, and Tatiana or Debbie. Debbie, do you want to send a summary of saying we should be writing in the notes here, saying we're going to extend it, and I think we should extend it. Let's see. Do you see, we haven't had a community call, and usually in that call, we say we're going to extend it. So I recommend that we extend it until the 16th of May. Like that, we have the next community call is on the 11th. We have that call, we have this time, we can do more promo, you know, just 2 weeks. I did think that 9 days was too little, and we only mediated for 7 days, like pushed over media. So I was concerned, not enough visibility as we do other things. Seems rash. All right, is it May 16 okay for everyone? Do we,
Seems okay.
it's good? Okay,
Sounds good.
perfect.
Sure.
Then Debbie,
16 is a Sunday.
it,
Does it matter? I mean, I don't
it's a
know.
Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday. So then the goal is for us to go into have the call on the 17th that is marketing focus,
Okay.
and then review a little bit things and have like whatever is, you know, it takes a while to review, but we want to make sure that during the community hangout on the 11th, we get to show up what we have at that time and tell everyone, hey, this is happening, you know, like more obvious. And we will do more media starting again today and tomorrow. David, do
But
you
in this way, we are going to have again extra call in a week after our usual marketing call. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. That will be the one off like this one. And on that one, we can review. You know, we can show you the parameters for review before we pull in the EMO and say, hey, these are the ones that we will go through the vote. Can you check anything before it goes through the vote? That's like normal. That is part of what they do to make sure they cut things that we might have not cut, right? So that process is cool and it's easier. We want more contributors to submit. And if they don't submit, so be it, but we're going to do a better job communicating. Debbie, are you okay to send, there is a thread that we should add it here, it's here already. And are you okay to say, hey, we discussed this morning and we have these logos, you know, you can just share the link and say, we have extended inviting all microprofilers to submit compatibility logos. You don't have to be a designer to do so until the May 16th. Can you do that? Just 1, 2 sentences, your words, move on.
Sure.
Okay, Debbie will own that. There you go. Add yourself to the minutes. Let's go to, and questions about this before we move to the next one.
No questions so far.
Okay, so Ryan, can you take up and give us an update on the handbook? We are starting from 0 and you already provided the link for review, but I didn't even open it because I wanted to make sure we have this call to discuss so that everyone is in the equal footing to provide feedback directly through the PDF. Take it.
Well, the link's
Maybe-
there so everyone can leave comments on whatever they want. If they feel there's some information missing, or they would like to see or some changes, or they see something that's off. I made it here in this export in this, it's an Adobe Acrobat comment kind of feature. So I'll get an email with all the comments that are happening and we can discuss things and move it all forward. I believe this is the latest version.
No idea where you see whatever you provided in the tweets, in the tickets. If you want to share it, then like that, we're sure that this is the latest.
My internet's not going to share. My
Okay.
internet's not going to share right now.
So
Yeah. Can you go down?
there.
Why? Do,
This one is in the,
whatever the last comment was from me.
yeah,
on
this
the,
is
on
from
that
the
ticket.
last comment. This one is from the last comment.
You know what? It has changed, but it's only tiny details that you wouldn't notice. Some font stuff. I remember I couldn't export. Yeah, a certain font has changed. I accidentally been using that one. But other than that, the main parts are all there. So
Hold
just
on
from
a
a
second,
design
everyone.
perspective.
Everyone remember to tweet Ed. Ed, add it to the minutes and to the call. We will all tweet you.
I'm working on it.
I know, so cool. So Ryan, tell me something.
What?
We have done this before for the MicroProfile wallpaper and a few other designs when we work with Adobe. Can you explain to everyone that they do not need to pay $80 to $100 to get access to have Adobe? They can, what do they have to do to be able to access this? Do they need to create an account? How does that work? Because they can only comment.
They just click the link and leave comments. You don't need an account. You can sign in as a guest.
Sign as a guest.
Yeah, it's completely, you just click and type and it leaves it. If you're as a guest, you can't link people, like, you know, at this person. But I feel this is the easiest way to get things across.
Here's the way you can comment. You just choose something and submit. So
yeah,
and I don't have any accounts in the Adobe or whatsoever.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. And so if your corporation, if your company, if you're a member of a company that uses Adobe Suite, then you can sign in. And then when you sign in and you're providing comments, please add Ryan, even though he will get all the comments. It's just nice. But if you're only a contributor and you're signing as a guest, trust us that Ryan will get the emails and all of it. He is, you know, we don't have a deadline for this, but we also hope to be done with it.
Well,
within the next 2 weeks.
I don't have to get the email. When you click on the link, you should see everyone's comments over time. So, yeah, there's no stress about it. I'll see everything.
Mm-hmm. And if someone here is unsure of what to expect from this handbook, please go into the Jakarta EE handbook that we created after, after securing the Jakarta logo and compatibility. This area will add the compatibility design and all this stuff. It's just in parallel with trademarks, right? We likely will add and adjust this to have members logos if we decide to ever have one as well. But the priority at the moment is to get the compatibility logo and then see what else is missing from here. MicroProfile thus far has only 2 logos, the M and then the MicroProfile. Now those are register marks. So then they use the R instead of the TM. And then Ryan, you sent a kit issue saying that there was an issue with fonts. Is that fixed?
Yeah, it's all fixed. All fonts have been updated on the drive, on the website. Yeah,
I saw your message, so I will update these fonts as well in the images that we were creating. We're just having some days off at work right now, so when the designer is back to work, I will work on that with him.
Mm-hmm. So then Ryan,
and the font difference wasn't anything extreme, so I don't think many people will notice the difference, but it is the correct font, so I wanted to get it correct, right from the beginning. So.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan, thank you so much, because when we go through careful minutia on doing the work for the guidelines and trademarks, we discover, this doesn't match. And this is exactly why we take the time and really focus on this matter. And I really, really appreciate you're a perfect, what is to say? Someone that really pays attention to detail once you are in. So it's just like perfect eye.
Perfection?
Yeah, perfectionist.
Perfectionist.
Yeah, it works. It works in this side. Like you're like, this is wrong. Like, so anyway, questions for Ryan. And Ryan, can you add in this part to say everyone, and in the ticket, if sign as a guest and submit comments. And then if you have an Adobe Suite, they can add you ads. They don't need to, but that needs to be explained here and also in the ticket so that we can enable review. And everyone here is welcome to do the review. Everyone. You can go in there and say, this doesn't match. Debbie, you're usually really good with MP and all this stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question about the trademark. So when the logos are all capital letters for MicroProfile, but then usually when we write it, it's a capital M, lowercase, the rest, and then a capital P. how is it trademarked? Is it supposed to be all capitals or?
Yeah, like this is how it works. When the Eclipse Foundation, when we submit a trademark, that is a global one, it gets submitted as big letters or
Capitals.
little letters. It covers all forms whatsoever, all the forms. So then it means MicroProfile can be written any way it wants it to be. And what I can do is I can add a message from Wayne sent a message explaining this. He said it covers all the stuff and he sent it to the MicroProfile working group. And good call, Debbie, I had not added that here and it's important and it will be added into the documentation for trademarks and the marketing. John, go ahead.
That was Ed.
Ed, go ahead. You're so quiet.
I didn't mean to say anything. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I recall the same thing, by the way. Caps, no caps, caps or lowercase, doesn't matter. The trademark covers it.
And we will continue to use MicroProfile as it is, M and then P. However, when it was filed, it always gets filed with large and then it goes all forms. It can be like 4 different letters, not letters, but high, low, I do not know how you call it. But here, we can, if we wanted to, do a logo that is not really trademark because it's part of it, that says and I think it's a good idea to do so, now that Debbie mentioned it. Can we create a logo that is a gift ticket? So Debbie, because you're really, really smart on this one. What I'm saying is, we don't have a MicroProfile logo that is the regular MicroProfile M, and MP.
That's not how, you don't do those with logos. There's one version.
Okay.
And yes, you can write it a different way. You can have big M, big P, and that's the standard for writing it. But when the branding was made, it was all decided on caps, and that's how the logo always is. It's never an adjustment to having a logo with a big M and a big P and all the rest lower. You don't adjust the branding in this way.
Yeah, that's something that I continue to forget. David, do you understand? It's just like,
yeah. So are we going to have any standards, like when you write it in text, it should be a capital M, capital P, or do
yes.
we not?
No, it always needs to be in letters and like documents, like white papers, blogs, anything. It always needs to be original M and P, large. And then everything else goes as it is. For the regular logo, it just goes like this.
Okay.
It's just, I do not know, but it's just how it works. But we can write it any way we want to when we write it, but we will continue to do MP because it works.
Well, then you don't want to say we can write it any way. It's always big M and big P.
Exactly. Yeah, I meant
writing it.
Yeah, I meant for the logos trademark, like not the trademark, but the original is always like too large, all capitals. But when we write it, it's always M and P, always. Like in the guidelines, Debbie found out that we were using all the P small and she fixed it, right? So with Manish, and that was really cool. So we need to continue to catch that out. So comment directly via the documents. Ryan, what else? We don't have a deadline for this.
That's it. I have a feeling that I'll probably have to add a couple more pages in because I look at it, or I need to create a couple more logos for the drive so people have a little bit more access to one color. I think it's there, honestly, but my baby's crying. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Anyways, it's going, it's moving. So it's but comment into that doc and please just put whatever suggestions you feel is missing, and then we'll just expand it from there.
So then the next call, thank you, Ryan. The next call is for working group decisions, not decisions, but figuring out stuff, is on the 17th, 2 weeks from now. And I recommend all of us to work on providing critical feedback to the documents. Doesn't really matter what it is. If you see something off, just say so, because it's not that we cannot change the PDF, and we will have to change it in the future because that is what we do when we learn, but we want it to be as complete as possible, right? So if you want to go into the branding MicroProfile and the website, go in there and see what else is missing. Why don't we have there? Usually fonts, colors, but maybe there are other things we're not thinking about. Check the Jakarta handbook and see what maybe we can emulate from there, because we were behind that one also with the Eclipse Foundation. And I think it's important that we bring that work here, like you have seen. It's just what we do. Questions? Do we feel enabled to do the comments?
Yep, sounds good. I think that everyone should just check that document and leave the comments. Next time we can just finalize it.
And remember that finalize it is important, but it does mean that it needs to have a steering committee approval. We need to show it in the community call and be like, hey, this we believe is ready to move forward. The trademark guidelines is complete. It needs to link to this document and a bunch of other documents that are being populated, right? But
I think, sorry, Emily, I think in order to get approval at the steering committee, we will need to send this document beforehand, like in several days before the call.
2 weeks.
With the link to the final version that we see as a final version.
Correct.
In order for people to take a look, not to have this document like shared during the call, because I'm not sure that people can make a decision.
Totally. It's going to be at least 2 weeks for them to send, for everyone to send. You see, once we are happy, once this group is happy with whatever we create on the 17th, up to the 17th, and maybe that week we take it to do minutia, we can present it on the community call or whatever it happens in the next Tuesday, or submit it to the community forum, which is always my preference. And then for everyone to check it, send comments, whatever. And then, only then it goes to the steering committee for everyone, for the members to be ready to say, hey, second it, I am okay to vote on this in 2 weeks. Do you see, we don't rush because we stay with this. This is like, careful.
Okay.
Third topic, and we are like, hold on. Welcome to Santa Monica. Okay, thank you so much. Apologies for the noise. So we have the marketing 2021 budget, and I think we're close. We just need to present it. Can you please share the presentation, the power presentation in the bottom? There you go. And thank you, Debbie.
This is Tatiana who is sharing, just in case for you to know.
Oh yeah, sorry, Tatiana, Debbie, the two of your hosts. So I'm like, I am being totally like interchangeably. Correct me. This is the time. Okay. So the last call 2 weeks ago, we added some comments directly through this document for Paul and the EMO to answer some questions that I had on parts that were missing. And it's important here. He used the steering committee private mailing list to send those replies, those two replies. Those two replies were added to the minutes for the community call, and they are added here. The first one is my question. There are $10,000, it says like for management for the trademark. So then what does that mean for the working group? And then it means my thought was, is this something that we need to pay every year? Or is this something as a one-off, right? So then full reply, let's see. Full reply was that is temporary, only for this year, the 10K at a cost only for this year. And I'm not sure why the answer is not here. I think I missed the mark on that one. It should be here. Oh, maybe it's there. Can you see it? Okay, his answer was the 10,000 is only this year for things that might be needed by the team. And that means when we ask them to review the logos before we send it to a vote and all these other things that they will have to do for us, it's not that it's legal because they are not sending the trademarks yet, but they have their people doing stuff. And when that happens, money is spent. We do not know exactly how much work it's going to be. So then they have marked it to 10K, but that is only for 2021. So when we do our budget in October for 2022, we remove that amount. There might be a maintenance for trademarks, but I have never seen a trademark cost lots of money in the level of maintenance. So we will see how much that is in October when we start working for the 2022 budget. Questions about this? Because currently it's 63,000, 13.5 for legal, and then 50 include the 10K that is for work.
So the question becomes, do we need to pay the ongoing maintenance fee, or do we just have to have backup budget to cover enforcement issues?
Yes. So
and that unspent money then, if there are no enforcement issues, can it just roll over to the following year?
Exactly that. And I think that will be a part of our surplus, which we should be a huge proponent of surpluses. And one of the things that I like about asking these questions in the open is because we get the answers and we get to decide as a working group how we want to secure the money. I believe that having a buffer is very, very important for any working group, especially in these matters. It makes me nervous that we allocate money that will never be spent. Yes, it's being paid out of the blue. I don't like those kind of things. And I'm hoping that as we bring more transparency on how the budget works, that we get to tackle these things. Not only because it's what we should do, but it shows that we are accountable to whatever money is collected, right? And hold. So yeah, questions about this aside from John, who totally nailed it on his understanding. It's budget. Mija, are you understanding this part? Last time you said it was your first time working on budget.
Yeah, all I heard was that we are saving money, and I'm good with that.
It's not about saving, it's about understanding how the money is used.
Definitely.
We're not going to throw the money and be like, I trust you. It's not about trust, it's about working with what we have and making sure that we know where the money is being spent and we can adjust it. This is why we are a working group. Go to the next question, number 2. Also, remember that the 13.5 for legal will be, it's only a 1 year off. It's not going to be there next year. So $23,000 are coming back to us, right? And that is without us lowering the fee for maybe the 2 highest members, right? Like 25 and 20, which that's another topic. Question number 2. This one is about 2015 budget. And it says that there is a surplus. It's a small surplus, but there is a surplus of about 1,300 or something. Debbie, can you go into the presentation once again? And thank you, no Debbie, Tatiana, thank you. Yeah, correct me, I'm correcting myself. So here, in this one, we have currently in here, it lists Payara as a member in 2020, but Payara fee was not added to the 15.5. So we need correction on this. And Debbie, this is not calling out anything. It's just that we have not added. There is a surplus of the fee of the 3 months that was prorated, and that is what needs to be adjusted. The 15.5 only covers 5 members. As the Excel sheet shows, we can go into the Excel sheet that we have, and that would be amazing if you can open a different tab for the Excel sheet that you have. Look, she has it open already. And we go to membership. There, right? Do you see that? So with six members, the cost is this. If we remove Payara, then it goes to 1555. So then we have a surplus that is small, but we can add that surplus to our buffer, which the buffer is not even 4K right now. This will bring us closer to 4K, which we know we need. What do we think about this? Because there is no wishy, or these are facts. Yep. Do you understand the question, and to make sure that it's fixed and added to the surplus? Do you understand why this matters? Even if it was $100, I would be picky about this.
Yep.
Well, but does anyone like Paul or anyone against this? It seems to me they're okay to fix it, or do they have any objections?
They have not fixed it from 2 months now. So I have no idea what's happening. Maybe I am not explaining correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a reply to that thread that is private and show the distribution of the members and say, this is the amount and this is a surplus. The Clips Foundation can come and say, hey, we will use that money for operational costs, which is okay, but we want to make sure that is acknowledged, because 1550 is incorrect. That's it. Tatiana, can you go into the draft again? Yes. Here, let's go to the questions about this, because I think it's miscommunication. Is there, we will fix it, but it has not been fixed. I have failed to fix it in 2 months. So now maybe someone else will have to take the reign here to fix it, right? Sometimes we need to back off and allow someone else to do the communication.
Here I have a question. Are we going to have any other call, like joint call to finalize these budget questions or whatever?
Yes, we need to.
When will it be? Are there any plans already? Because maybe we can just fix it during the call, like explain if it's not clear still for someone and fix it ongoing, because I don't think that this is some kind of big issue or whatever.
No, it's not big.
Maybe it's just out of sight because people are busy with something else. And
yeah, we have been busy with the Jakarta E9.1. So it's like, understood, like it's just too much. I do believe that we need a call, and it's not, it shouldn't be a community call. It should be a one-off steering committee call like we had last Tuesday. And it should be recorded, and we should focus only about budget, but we're tackling the things that we can tackle internally. Like that not internally, because the budget has been public since day one, March 15. And even before that, we had it public. However, we were not there yet, and I think now we're yet. John, you are here. Do you feel that, and Ed, you are here. David, you are here. Do you feel that we are ready to talk about budget and go through the distribution of the slides, and that you will be okay to ask questions, and that we will not leave a rocket? We just need to finalize the budget. And we said we will do it in Q2.
Yeah, it is a topic that we do have to vote on. So there has to be a steering committee meeting announced for that discussion to happen, which I haven't done yet because we haven't finalized kind of this budget. But, you know, I don't remember, Ed, under Jakarta, do we kind of send these out kind of, yeah, we actually, I think we do. We send these out a priori to get feedback before the call.
Correct.
We had several sessions going through.
Yeah, several. It's true. You know how we do it there? It gets to the members, the draft from the EMO, and then the members go and adjust and say, this doesn't work, we need this to be services. How are we going to, you know, let go of people or services? And we do those kind of conversations. The same, we don't have those kind of complexities and in MicroProfile, thank goodness. However, we still need time to discuss this. And I hope that after today, we can send these out to the working group and say, we should meet in about 3 weeks or something. We can just say something random, choose a date on the next community call and say, how do we feel about having a one-off to discuss the budget? And after that call, we have a vote for 2 weeks. But we need to discuss the budget because we have found out through 4 years, almost with the Jakarta side, that very little feedback comes in when a draft is drafted. And the calls, as Ed mentioned, take different iterations once people start tackling each slide in item, right? I don't think it's going to be that complex for us. However, because we're doing the work ahead of time, and we have been doing the work ahead of time, but we still need to treat it with care. And that's my recommendation, even though it should be.
One thing I could do, so tomorrow's the technical call.
Correct.
But the following call, we can do a steering committee meeting.
Half.
Yeah, for half, and just say, here's a draft of the budget and get comments.
Can we do that, John? And can we send it off today? Because
well, maybe not. I have to have discussions with Paul around this because there is concerns about having public budget discussion still.
I'm sorry to say this on that side, but MicroProfile decided that it will bring transparency to everything we discussed. Budgets is as technical, and it should be treated as such.
Well, the way it's set up, well, I'm going to have to push back a little bit because the way it's defined in the charter is if somebody objects, then the meeting does not have to be recorded.
However, the Eclipse Foundation doesn't have a vote, right? So then we need to treat only those that are members. Why do then we need to tackle it? And those conversations need to be, need priority. However, reminder to everyone, the Eclipse Foundation doesn't have a vote on leading or managing the working group. It is each member how we shape.
So we'll have to take this conversation offline. It's a valid discussion.
Yes.
I just don't want to eat up the time here on it.
And John, I want to caution on whatever comes back, please bring it back to the working group, either through the working group mailing list, because every single time we take away transparency, we lose. It means the community and the openness that is written as a 7th pillar of the working group lose. Every single time a concession is provided, especially in topics that are as simple as a budget, there should be like air.
All right, so like I said, let's take this conversation offline.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm just being very serious on here. So David, can you, Tatiana, can you share once again the slides? That is the last page that we can go to it. And in here, we have a problem, right? So the problem that we have here, it says once approved, the EMO provides quarterly updates. That's a no, and I will be biased on this side. It is not the job of the foundation, even though they get paid $20,000 a year for the MicroProfile working group, to provide a countdown of how the MicroProfile working group is spending the money. They are in charge of the accounting side of the budget for all working groups, currently 17. The job of the working group, or at least what we aim at seeing or piloting, because I don't think any other working group is doing it at the moment, is to make sure that we, members, are the ones responsible to educate our community on how the money is spent and adjusted as fluid as possible. I don't believe that it's necessary for us to have every month budget things, but we can adjust the budget every month as we see it, please, as we see it fit, right? Within the structure that we have set up, marketing is going to be about a little bit less than 25K. And then we do all those things, and we can play with that side because it's flexible. Then we have the trademark, and we have 40,000 unaccountable. Now we're doing currently the work, this handbook, all of it. So that money is going to return to us. And whatever we do with that money is going to be our decision. The quarterly report is created, and it will be a collaboration once it's done with the Eclipse Foundation. However, it is not that they throw at us, and I will use the word throw because That is how I see it. Throw at us what they have currently. It is us, the ones who need to make sure that we account for the money and we know how much we have spent. That is why the Excel sheet that we have here shows at the moment, momentarily, only what it is today. However, it needs to track money expend, right?
Yeah, here's the thing on this. I think since the money is really under the Eclipse Foundation, they just want to provide a status update on it. Your point is completely valid. And then it's at the end of the day, it's our responsibility about how we budget and spend the money. But since it's under their kind of, their purview, their accounts, just giving a status update, I don't think is problematic at all.
It's not. If because it's included into the services, it's fine to get something like this. Imagine they did it before we did it, which is great, right? However, and that is okay. However, it is not for us to approve. It is just for us to go through it if they want to do that, right? What I want to make sure that we are cautioned here is that we don't fall back into taking hands off in the budget. I caution against it because every single time we get a new member, the budget will change. And then we will update, this is how much money is added, and we will allocate it to X. It is our job, for example, to say, with this new member, we will dedicate this money to so many chickens, for example, quote unquote, right? How much we can do buying t-shirts, right? So I will back up here. What do we think about this, right? Allocation, because even the budget is not fixed. It's changing, and hopefully we get many more members. Tatiana, Neha, Emerson, Ryan, Debbie.
Well, I'm not sure that I quite understand about what problem here you're talking. As far as problem point, as far as I understand, this point is giving some updates to steering committee through the Eclipse Foundation. Am I correct in understanding this point?
No, here it says how it's written here. The last sentence: the EMO will provide quarterly updates to the steering committee on budget. And what we want and what we said is we will provide as a working group the budget updates to the entire community, right? So there is a difference on the writing on this, and it needs to be rewritten. As you have seen, it's problematic because the steering committee is not private. Our steering committee is not private. Our calls are open, and most of them recorded, with one exception in 4.5 years. So steering committee is something new. So we want to make sure that we don't lose the power to talk about budget publicly. Once we agreed the budget is too complicated and the community cannot understand it, then we ourselves are dropping one of the 7 layers, that is openness. Open source in projects, there is nothing that is private or should be private aside from signing a contract, because that is illegal.
So as I understand, the wording should be more likely, it should say like, once approved, the EMO to provide the quarterly updates to the community rather than saying just the steering committee. Am I right?
It's something like this because only the steering committee can approve the budget. However, it is our job, not the Eclipse Foundation job, and we need to be very respectful of this. They do their job, they get paid for the job, right? Mm-hmm. But it is our job to not be a steering committee. One of the coolest things that we have done is to avoid having steering committees every month or every 2 weeks, and we want to keep distributing the knowledge so that there is documentation, right? When Mike, I caution because it's finance, it's like a budget, and people are like, oh, it's finance, I don't care. It doesn't matter if you don't care. At least information is there and you can trace it in an email and everything like this, right? So regardless of what we do, I want us to be super cautious on every single time a concession on privacy is given in open source, you are sending something to die. It's going to die sooner or later because the less diversity in eyes, the more nonsense. And I would say nonsense because it happens to all in every organization. If you are private, corporate, doesn't matter what you do. Keep something in the dark enough and it's going to change and be a shadow of what it's meant to be. In finances, it's like this, right? We're open source.
So basically, should we just offer to add here updates to the community and steering committee on the budget?
Correct. Someone can write it. I just wrote it here, and I didn't even send or add a poll onto this because I wanted us to discuss in this call before we bring it to the steering committee. How do you feel about this? Because I feel strongly about this, and it's going to be really hard. Anyone can talk to me, and I likely change little things, but I have seen other working groups, and I have seen at the Eclipse Foundation and on other foundations, and it's complicated. I don't want us to be dealing with frustrations. We're better than that. We have learned from it. So let's be open, kind.
Well, I've added this point, and I think that during the final review, if there will be some objections from Eclipse Foundation or whoever who is not on the call today, they can raise these questions. So far, I don't see any trouble adding this point because everything that we are doing here, we are sharing with the community anyway. So it's like logical step for us to share the budget updates as well.
Tatiana, can you click 12, page 12? Here. So then, do you see we have the surplus of Payara, not added yet. So this will change. Once it does, we will need to maybe allocate it under contingency. That is what we're going to do. So then contingency is going to increase. So FYI, because currently, I do not know where, Tatiana, where do you allocate the 1,125?
Well, I added this surplus. I mentioned that this sum is already, have already the surplus inside.
Yes, but then in here, where, in what line? I don't remember if we ever added it to anything. So I'm saying let's add it to contingency.
What do you mean by adding?
Yeah.
So we have a full number and then this number is distributed. So in total, I distributed the numbers like this. So this.
Oh, okay. So you distributed
all this is distributed. The full total sum is this one. So basically this is almost the same that we have for this year. Only like 125 is left, but again, this can be like surplus or something like that if we need some extra.
Okay, so then you mean that you already added it when we were working on the other budget and you were helping us clean up, you know, what we talked a month ago. You immediately added that amount because I did mention it. Hey, we need to add this. And what I didn't know is that we had added it already here for some reason.
Yeah, they are already added.
Perfect. Yeah. Questions about this? Like Tatiana already added this. There is a less topic to talk about. It's done.
Okay.
All right, so this was the last topic, and John has, Debbie has an item that we will send that stuff. I will send a Git ticket, and then we will push again. This is still happening. Submit your logos. John is going to speak with the EMO and say that we are ready to discuss budget in the steering committee and bring it up, and we prefer it to be public and recorded, right? So. John, any issues with this?
I'll deliver the message and we'll have the conversation. Just be aware that we're going to have to, well, this is going to take more conversation.
Correct. It's going to take conversation. We're ready for it. Ed, any comments on this? Because you have been working on the budget for Jakarta EE a long time. So you are like not an expert, but you know how this can go.
Yeah, I think always be prepared for interjections right up to the last vote.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Otherwise, you know, I think the more we can be transparent, the better it is.
Correct. And Ed, so do you like? How do you feel about bringing your knowledge from the Jakarta side? It works totally different, and that is okay on that side. So the MicroProfile side, see the things that we can improve that you will not like to see. I mean, do you feel that your experience there will provide an input into the newcomers that have not done this work you know, we have 2 JAGs, they have never done this work. You know, I think your input is going to be very valuable. I'm just highlighting because I've seen your work on the other side.
Sure, whatever I could do to help explain or educate people, no problem.
All right, so we're 4 minutes in. Any questions, any other topics? How do we feel about the second call for the working group and the marketing side? Do we believe that this is valuable? And this should not be forever. It's just Q2. And it will be strategic, but do we feel that this is valuable?
Well, it's a time thing, right? So if this prohibits, how do I say this? If we couldn't get this done otherwise via the normal meetings, because right, we got a bunch of good issues, then this is valuable, right? If trying to squash it all into a single 1 hour meeting is not possible, then we kind of have no choice.
No choice at the moment. Tatiana, Debbie, Niha, both of the 3 of you have assigned yourselves as stewards for the future months. And do you understand why this is not going into those calls? And do you think it is valuable?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable to have like separate call dedicated to such stuff and not maybe like change the focus to some stuff like branding or whatever separately and solve already this question and close it for this year.
Yep, I agree what Tatiana said.
Debbie?
Yeah, I guess if there isn't time in the regularly scheduled meetings, then there really isn't any other option. You still have
at least for Q2, only because we haven't done this before. As we iterate, I think after this time, all these things are going to be done, and then we can back off and get back our 1 hour, which is super important. Time is very precious. So then I definitely want to thank everyone for joining, because I believe it to be valuable. Like John and I discussed, and I was like, let's do this for Q2 and have it strategic. Personally, I don't like calls without an agenda. And in open source, the recurrence of every week, I find it bothersome, but that's me. And I'm glad that everyone feels protected of their time too. It's important. Oh, and I haven't even added my name. Oh, I did add my name here, one credit and things. Okay, so we're done. Everyone added your names. I think Ed, you are missing here. And who else is missing? Definitely 1 hour is spent. So please add your name. Yeah, fix it. And we're done. 10:59, 1 minute. Thank you, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Is a technical call. Okay, thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
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 Yeah, bye.
Bye.